Greetings and bienvenue, midnight crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast, and welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
I was about 10 years old when I saw the only clear day apparition I've ever encountered. I was asleep in bed when I woke up in the middle of the night for no real reason. Something caught my eye before I tried going back to sleep, a small girl standing in my doorway looking at my door that was slightly ajar. I have a little sister, so I assumed in the dark it was her. "Anant's sister?" I asked. The apparition turned to look at me and it had no face, it was just solid black. It turned away and ran down the hallway. For some reason I was convinced it was still my sister, so I got up as fast as I could and looked down the hallway. It was gone. And my sister's door, that was right next to my room, so not where the girl ran, was shut. I opened it quietly and looked in to see my 6-year-old sister, who could not think of playing this kind of joke on me, fast asleep. I shut her door and sat in bed staring at my door until the sun came up. My sister had no idea what I was talking about when I asked her in the morning.
When I still lived in the apartment I shared with my ex-boyfriend before he was killed, I used to see him sometimes, or I'd hear him. I used to think I was just trippin' because at the time I was getting clean and my head was messing with me. I'm also bipolar, and hearing voices or even seeing things is rare for me when I'm on my meds, but it's still nothing new. Now I don't know if I was imagining it or if he was really there, in spirit. Once my brother was over and I heard my ex singing. He was in bands and shit, so it wasn't just some person singing, I recognized his voice. I just ignored it, but my brother said, "What the fuck was that?" He thought someone was actually in my house and got up to look around. My current partner, who I started seeing just before I moved, also saw him. He thought it was just some crackhead who had broken in. But then he did that usual ghostly thing of disappearing as soon as you're not looking at him head on. So, I don't know. Now that it's been some years, I'm almost tempted to see if I can get back into my old place and do some amateur investigating, or at least talk to the people that are there now.
How was he killed?
Stabbed. They haven't found out who did it yet, and they probably won't. My guess is it was just some drug fuck in the area who probably can't even remember doing it themselves.
I got one from a couple years back. My dad had won a raffle at his work and our family got a free trip to Hawaii at the company house. This was the second time he had won and we got to stay in the same house. On vacation with the family. Staying in a big 80s mansion owned by my dad's work. Housemaids and everything. Apparently the house was built on an old trail used by the ancient Hawaiians. Maids telling us all the shit they have seen, heard in not only the house we stayed in, but in other houses in the neighborhood too. Say they heard horses and saw ghosts of the ancients walking around. Whatever. The house is laid out in a way so that only the master bedroom, where my parents were staying, was in the house. Other rooms are separated and secluded. I remember being in the same room I was in the first time we came, but something was different. The room had an uncomfortable vibe and I found myself wanting to leave every time I walked in. The first time I came I was about 15 and had not felt that way at all. I was 18 at the time and I remember being almost embarrassed to be scared, so I just ignored it. One night I was on the phone with this QT back home. Be talking with her until about 3-ish. Lost in conversation, just staring at the doorway to the bathroom. The rooms themselves were a lot like hotel rooms with their own bathrooms and showers. Then I saw a white fog, blur just flow across the doorway in the bathroom. I was looking so close to the doorway that I had time to focus on it before it disappeared. Couldn't have been peripheral vision. Still talking to chick, trying to ignore whatever the fuck I just saw. Kept thinking, I'm not cowering out. Kept trying to convince myself I was tripping. talking for 30 more minutes and almost forgot about it when in the corner of the room I saw it again. A white outline of a person flashed in the corner of the room. It was really subtle and quick, for less than a second it appeared. Not like what I thought a ghost would look like, just an almost invisible outline of a person. Still convinced that I'm tripping balls because it wasn't obvious. Still really fucking scared and paranoid now. Still on phone because fuck being alone in that room. Eyes are locked on that same corner where I saw it. Then the white outline flashed again and I saw it again, but this time it was right fucking in front of me. A wave of terror comes over me. I can hear my heart beating. The thing wanted me out. Hung up the phone. Got the fuck outside and called my parents to let me in. Didn't even grab my key to get inside. I couldn't sleep at all that night. Thankfully that was my last night there, so we left in the morning.
When I was about 12, I used to belong to a community swim club. It is in an area that has a lake nearby and in an area that was popular in the 1900s as a rural getaway. The place always gave me weird vibes. At the swim club one evening, I'm by the fence with another friend trying to build bunkers for our GI Joes. The fence separates the place from the outside street, sidewalk. I get goosebumps out of nowhere. Look at the fence and see on the other side. Appears out of nowhere. There is a man on an old big wheel bicycle from the turn of the century. He's wearing white pants, white shirt, black vest and a black cap. He had a handlebar mustache. He was very detailed except for looking like an old black and white movie. Flickered a bit too. My friend and I both saw it. We instantly ran to the other side of the fence. Nobody there and it was a straight path with no cover for a long while.
This was a few years back. I worked at a Speedway gas station off the highway on the third shift. So I was by myself from 11 to 6 a.m. I know a haunted gas station sounds dumb. I worked there for 3 years, so for the longest time it was just a collection of creepy feelings or strange breezes or sounds. But the longer I worked overnight, the more intense stuff got. I don't really green text, but I can post a few little blurbs, I guess. Right around 1 a.m. the customers stopped and the weirdness began. Take advantage of mop and catch up on cleaning. Start humming to myself while working. We had those horizontal cup dispensers, some high up. The cup goes flying across the store, lands and spins. Stop mopping, feel mildly spooked. Figure somebody just put too many cups in there. Resume mopping. Several more cups, one right after the other, come flying out and land everywhere. The weird part was that each successive cup seemed to gain velocity. Freeze. Eventually go clean up the mess. This ghost, or whatever, was a dick. Most of its activity involved making messes I'd have to clean up. It seemed to react also to me singing, humming or whistling a tune. Creepy stuff. Jumping around a bit, when I first started working there we were only open until midnight. I still closed by myself but was alone for fewer hours and not as late into the night. Be doing final cleaning in the store. The front door is locked, I'm locked in the store. All lot and interior lights are off. Only the backup lights in the back of the store. Finish mopping. Always mopping at this place. Ready to go. Set alarm. The way it works, you have 90 seconds from when you set it, in the back of the store, to get up front, unlock the door, get outside, shut the door and lock it again or the alarm goes off. No time to sit and speculate on things. Brisk walk up front. The back area by the alarm always gives me the willies. Feel like something is walking behind me as I go. Brush it off as childish imagination. Get to the front door, unlock it. Before I can open the door, I look straight into it, and see an apparition, I guess, in the reflection behind me. Made of white light, vaguely humanoid. Quick as a flash it darts from one side of me to the other and vanishes. The store gets darker. Dart out. Lock the door behind self. Nope, back home for the night. I am a pretty skeptical person by nature, so I really tried to ignore most of the stuff that happened. Aside from run-of-the-mill stuff falling, being thrown, strange noise combos, I didn't really see much directly. There was so much glass in the store that there were reflections of reflections and stuff. I always tried to tell myself, oh, it was just a car going by. But I never believed myself because I had worked there so long that I knew all the patterns of lights off of the glass. A car driving by, headlights pulling in, etc. I was seeing something in the reflections I wasn't able to pick out of the air. Very unsettling. Probably the williest, standout sighting. B. Believe it or not, mopping in an empty store around 2 a.m. Singing again to pass the time by myself. It got really boring there. Happened to glance at the soda coolers. See a vague brown shadow moving along the surface of the glass. Appears to be a man, about the right height, with some kind of brimmed top hat or whatever. Just the head, shoulders and shadow, no legs or anything. Quick as can be, walks in front of me, its reflection in front of mine. Passes along each of the 8 cooler doors in succession. Obviously I see nothing in front of me. Kind of dissolves into the back room. Guess I'm not going back there for anything tonight. Another time I saw the same hat-shaped head pass across the mirror in the bathroom. Again, the image was between the mirror and me, but I saw nothing. Again, it rounded the corner into the back room. I hated it back there between 1 and 3 a.m. I wasn't the only person who had weird stuff happen while I worked there. The girl who came in at 6 a.m. swore up and down she'd seen the reflection of a bloody mangled man in the doors of the ice cooler. She believed we were haunted by the ghost of a man who died in an accident on the road in front of the gas station. I did a little bit of rudimentary research into the stretch of road and the property's history and found bupkis online, and then nothing interesting or enticing. This girl was a little tinfoil hatty, so I kind of took most things she said with a grain of salt. The guy who brought the donuts in at 4 a.m. would sometimes ask if someone else was in the store, and seem surprised when I told him we were alone. He'd say, "Are you sure?" but never elaborated. Of all the creepy experiences, this one was probably the most disturbing to me. Be behind the counter, cleaning, who knows what. Maybe dishes for a change. Something flies off of the top shelf in the back room, narrowly misses my head. Shout, "You stupid ghost. I hate this stupid job, I should quit." Or something to that effect. Temperature drops a few degrees. One by one the overhead lights start to flicker. Starts with the one in back by where the gas can had flown off the shelf, moves forward, closer to me by the sinks. As the last light, over top me, dims and buzzes, I feel a breeze blow. Voice whispers, high-pitched and very fast, but quite distinctly just an inch away from my left ear, "Stay." Light above me goes off, stays off for a few seconds before coming back on. Breeze gone, temperature fine again. I was so shaken that time I actually left the store. I smoked a cigarette out front and shook. Talking to me crossed the line, ghost. Jumping around a bit more. I mentioned I was pretty skeptical. I always kind of wanted to believe in ghosts, but up until then had never seen anything legit paranormal. My then boyfriend, we've since married, has all kinds of personal ghost stories of his own. His whole family talks nonchalantly about their old haunted house and ghosts as if they were a fact of life. At the time he was also working third shift nearby, so he would sometimes come by on his lunches, and was the one who decided that shit flying off shelves and creepy noises equals haunted gas station. I still wasn't so sure. But he set foot in it and declared it haunted. I suppose that family is sensitive to spirits, if you believe in that kind of thing. But the ghost or whatever didn't like him being there. The atmosphere definitely changed. It was almost possessive. My husband said it was feeding off of my energy. This was a consciousness, not just an energy pattern going through the motions like some ghosts. So after a while I got in the habit of talking to the ghost or presence or whatever at times. Again, this was the most boring job ever, and I was in an empty gas station with nothing to do for much of the night. You only need so many smoke breaks and you can only clean so much. I found that talking or singing and directing positive energy towards a silent partner decreased stuff being thrown and the chilly feelings, weird noises. Now, this is not a story I've told many people IRL. I've lurked on X for quite a while and sat on it too, because generally I myself do not consider feelings and intuitions valid ghost proof. But all I have is the story, and this is 4chan, so bear with me as it gets a little more subjective. Be cleaning in the back office. During the day so other employees are here, sun is up. Drop something behind the boss's desk. Move the desk to get it. Notice hole in the wall. Looks like an empty metal box where an electrical socket would go. Really dusty and covered in dirt and crap. No idea the last time someone was back here. Notice something orange in the hole. Folded up scrap of paper. Unfold it and it says, in the ceiling above the storage unit. Handwritten. The other side of the paper is an order form from a company we don't know or use. Show it to the boss, and others who've worked there the longest. No one recognizes the company's logo. The form is torn so it doesn't even say what you're ordering. I did actually have pictures of the hole, the note, and what I found outside. But that was 4 phones and 2 laptops ago, and sadly they are lost. Nothing too good anyway. I didn't get a pic of a ghost. Go outside when my shift is over. Back around the side of the building there is an external opening storage unit. Ceiling overhangs with aluminum paneling on the bottom. Roof is much higher and shingled. Aluminum paneling directly above the door is bent, torn, twisted into an opening. Can't see anything in there. Hole is potentially large enough for a human. Must be raccoons. I hope, haha. I had heard stuff skittering around on the ceiling plenty of times, but I always just figured it was squirrels, mice, or raccoons or something. I had never looked at the roof above the storage unit. I have no way of knowing how long the hole had been there. I became convinced that whatever presence was in the store was stuck in the physical store itself. That's why I tried to find out if there was anything more to the building. Like I said, I had zero luck. Be in the store alone at night. Whatever creepy thing happens, I feel like I am being followed around the store by this thing. Feel drained and tired, cold, goosebumps, etc. Good time for a break. Go out to smoke and try to shake it off. Leaning against the front windows. Feel a very strong presence behind me, back in the store. Start to get a picture in my mind. Someone, thing with its hands and face pressed against the window. Try to be as close to me as it can. Chide myself for overactive imagination. Move to a different spot to stand. Better for a second, but feel quite clearly like it just followed me. Waiting, like, come back in. If I had to take the trash out or do something on the lot, I could feel it in the building on whichever wall was nearest me, even if I couldn't see into the store. It's really strange to feel stalked like that, I guess. There were some nights I dread going into that job, if I knew it was going to be slow. It wasn't as bad when we had customers. I felt like the activity kind of chased it away. So according to my husband, this ghost is feeding off of different energies to keep itself together on this plane or whatever. The flickering lights, the electrical panels, fuses, etc. in the back by the alarm where it's always creepiest. I've had about enough of all of it regardless at this point. One super slow night. Right around 2 a.m. Extremely hot muggy night in the middle of summer. Intense cloud cover, the sky is purple tinted. A heat lightning storm starts up and begins to roll in. Lots of lightning but no rain. You can feel the electricity in the air. Very eerie feeling overall. No cars even on the road, totally silent outside. Smoke a cigarette and take it all in. Again feeling presence in store behind me. Almost a buzzing sensation. I feel like this ghost thing is liking the storm. Lightning starts to pass cloud to cloud directly overhead. Really gorgeous and intense out. Offhandedly say, you should come see the storm, or whatever to the ghost. Just then there's a huge strike. Can't see for a few seconds, lightning right nearby. You can hear and feel the thunder almost at the same time. Feel a very strange feeling pass through me like a chill. Almost a euphoria or exaltation. Finish cigarette, storm passes. Finish shift quietly, go home, do whatever. After that I never saw, felt, heard, experienced anything creepy at that store ever again. Aside from the customers. Anticlimactic I know, but it wasn't until weeks later that I really was like, I haven't shat a brick in a while. I guess the ghost moved on, or whatever. It left. Or got tired of me.
I think I've seen an apparition before. It was in my apartment that I lived in 3 to 4 years ago. My situation with my family was all around bad. My stepdad was doing drugs and beginning to touch up on me, and my mom was suffering from stress and anxiety because the people in her work office were disrespecting her. Anyways, my mom swears that she used to see dark figures walk into my room or the kitchen at night. Once she even woke me up at midnight in frustration because she mistook the figure for me and had just assumed I was sneaking around again. My dad saw some shit too, but he was always too out of it to really tell us anything. He doesn't even remember what went down when we lived there. I saw shit too, but I always dismissed it as my eyes fucking with me. I had 2 weird dreams regarding an apparition and 2 sightings. They haunted me for the longest fucking time. One in particular really scared the shit out of me. I'm laying back on my bed, it's dark outside. Eating some chips while watching Futurama, which is basically what I used to do every day when I wasn't gaming. The door to my room is slightly open and I slowly realize that there's something standing under the table outside my room. It's short and misfigured, and I get this pure feeling of terror when I see it. The door suddenly slams open and I wake up right then and there. I was freaked out because I thought something was out to get me, but as soon as we moved everything slowly stopped.
Be me. 2017. Have friends over at my granny's house. She was gone for some reason and told me to take care of the house and her dog. Party with homies 2K17. Drinking, smoking, and shit. Friend asks me where do they sleep. Told them they sleep in the basement and I sleep on the first floor. To mention, the first floor wasn't really used by that time anymore. There used to be a living room, 2 bedrooms that were connected, kitchen and toilet. My granny used to live on the first floor, so the basement was left unmaintained.
I don't know, bro. I got weird feeling down there. Just show me where all the light switches are.
Alright. To be fair, even I had a weird feeling down there. All the rooms were darker and the fact it was basically abandoned left a big mark. Time to go to bed. Showed my friends their room and told them to behave or I'ma whoop their asses with my old grandpa's shotgun. They weren't good boys. Had to go downstairs twice since they were making a mess and yelling out loud. Got shitty neighbors and didn't want to get in trouble. All good for some time. Then I hear a rumble on the staircase. Open the door of my room. Silence. Okay, back to bed. Hear it again. as if someone from downstairs was trying to get up quickly and back down. That's it, fast forward. Get down again. Boys in bed, on their phones, one of them was asleep. There were 4 of them in total.
Yo, what's up?
Just go to fucking bed and stop fucking with me, I'm tired of this. I say.
What do you mean?
Just shut the fuck up, sleep. Coming back upstairs, to my bed. All quiet and peaceful at last. Fell asleep and had a good fucking sleep. Next day, I woke up and came downstairs. Friends already ready to go.
Yo, can we go now?
Well, first let's clean all the mess, and then we can go. They look kinda shaky, and as if they didn't get any sleep. Most of them were silent for a whole day, even in the car back on the way home. Didn't really think much of it. Fast forward 2 years. Be drinking with friends again. Mention that my granny is selling the house, and we should make one last party over there. They look at me dead in the eyes.
No, never again, Anon.
Why the fuck not?
Oh, we didn't tell you? That house is haunted as F.
At first, I was like, fuck off, everyone says that, but it's just their imagination.
Nah, for real. After 30 minutes you left for the last time, we began to hear footsteps above us. Thought it was you going to the kitchen. Then we heard them coming to the staircase. We didn't care until it started running and fucking jumping. The ceiling light was fucking moving side to side.
Alright, stop fucking with me, I haven't heard shit.
Since we thought it was you, we went out on the staircase and tried to be as James Bond as possible, so we could scare the shit out of you. We thought we got you, 'cause we heard footsteps going into your room. When we searched the whole floor, we got into your room to find you dead asleep. That's when we heard someone going upstairs. When we looked over to the stairs, no one was there. We quickly booked it into our room. Didn't even close your door on the way back. Back downstairs, we were still hearing fucking Usain Bolt above our heads.
The door was closed when I woke up, you idiot.
Well, your grandfather really knows how to guard you.
Welp, should have listened to me when I told you to shut the fuck up and go to bed. It kinda made me think about all the other stories I was told before.
Little background info. Me, 12 or 13 years old. Living in a rental home. The owner of the home would never give us a reason why he chose to not live there himself, after all of the renovations he had done on it. I would struggle to get sleep in this home. Whenever I would sleep, I would have these insanely vivid nightmares. Nightmares of my parents being murdered, myself being hunted through mansions. Really weird shit. Literally every night, these nightmares made me feel targeted. I would tell my parents about them sometimes. At first they were sympathetic for me, and would let me sleep on their floor in their room. After these nightmares reoccurred for months, and I'd wake up from a hellish sleep screaming and crying. My parents started locking their door at night, leaving me on my own to face whatever it was that was haunting me. Isolated, on my own. However, this experience didn't take place in the abyss of my head. It didn't happen at night, or while asleep. Wake up, weekend morning, 9 a.m.-ish. Feeling pretty good, got a decent night's worth of sleep for once. Walking through our long, blank white hallway towards the living room. Seeing the light shine off the walls, looks like it's going to be a beautiful day outside. Turning the corner past the front door towards the living room, I hear my mom making breakfast in the kitchen. Turn the corner, see the living room, freeze. See my 6-year-old brother's red coloring table from the movie, Cars, in the corner of the room, with one of the chairs pulled out. This table didn't sit any higher than 2 feet off the ground. In that chair is a tiny black figure that I have never seen. The feeling of pure evil overtakes me, makes me want to run and scream. I cannot. I have never felt this low, this drained outside of my nightmares. I'm petrified, frozen in place. Me and this fucker are staring at each other. Staring at each other, I feel it was learning my deepest secrets. I wished more than anything I could yell, "Mom," as she wasn't even 15 feet away, but in a different room. Or even, "Help," but no words would mutter. This figure doesn't have any distinctive features. I was looking at the silhouette of a being. It was black like tar, it looked thick but it was small and skinny. I see the bottom portion of the entity's head curl its way into the creepiest, most smug smile I have ever seen, and certainly won't ever forget. At this moment I feel a release and I turn my head left to yell, "Mom," into the kitchen and immediately look back at the table. It was gone. Disappeared in the split second I turned my head. My mom comes running in the room like, what? And sees the empty table, with the chair pulled out.
Did you put that there?
No, it was just there when I walked out. Still shook up as fuck from what I just saw. She moves table back to its rightful spot, but notices all sorts of weird fucking drawings on it in marker.
Damn it, your brother drew all over his table.
All the drawings basically looked like the scribblings of a 6-year-old, but they had a weird vibe to them. Asked my brother if he drew all over the table, he denied it. Asked my dad and grandma if they moved the table to where I saw it, they said no. I believe what I saw was a demon. Thing was only like a foot high, but it was scarier than all fuck. I don't know what happened to that table. I think we threw it away, but it may be in the garage.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more green texts will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.